July the 15th, 2025. Guys, you're looking at information coming in at 7:41 Eastern time, so it's been out a couple of hours. We still got a 40% chance of development on this system setting right there. Now, there's been some changes overnight. We're going to take a close look at that because it could make a difference in a lot of the forecast. But again, it's saying east of the Florida Peninsula into the northeastern Gulf. This is AI or AL 93. Satellite and radar data indicate that the shower and thunderstorm activity associated with the low pressure located just offshore the east coast of Florida remains disorganized. This system is forecast to move westward across the Florida Peninsula today and then reach the northeastern Gulf by Wednesday. Environmental conditions appear generally favorable for additional development, and a tropical depression could form while the system moves across the northeastern and north-central Gulf. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall could produce localized flash flooding over portions of Florida through midweek, and heavy rainfall could also cause flash flooding for portions of the north-central Gulf Coast during the middle to the latter portions of the week. Now, again, there's been some changes overnight. Let's take a real close look at the satellite images coming from overnight into this morning. Now, this is actually starting yesterday before sunset and going through overnight and into current time right now. It's 9:47 a.m. Central Time as I'm doing it, but it takes, for these type videos, a long time for YouTube to upload them. Anyway, guys, the center circulation is down in this area. We're going to play it through again. It's going to go into overnight, and then you're going to see some changes as the sun rises this morning. Let's play this thing through. Now, your center of circulation is in this area. You'll see it clear as we go through the overnight area and back into sunset this morning. Notice a couple of things. It's on top of the storms. The other thing is that the land mass has separated the two sections of the storm. Now, when I first looked at this thing was moving north and northwest. Watch in the first few frames as the sun rises right there. But then as I kept watching it a few minutes ago, this thing started to turn back to the west a little bit. But if it continues this movement right here, this thing may just come into shore and just south of the Florida-Georgia line and move ashore. There's that possibility. The one thing that would force it back into the Gulf, since it's reached this height, is notice everything's moving to the south on this side of the map right here, and that could be part of the steering factor to get it to turn back. But right now, it is pretty high as far as the North Florida area. Again, we'll look at it. You'll see that as the sun rises here, here's the center of circulation. It's going to head to the north. Last few frames, you're going to see it cut back to the left or to the west. Right there, see that? Watch it. One more time, going through overnight. Right there. Now, what's the silver lining in this thing possibly not making it back into the Gulf? Or if it does, guys, it could come right here through the Big Bend area and then go back ashore. And the silver lining would be that possibly South Louisiana and Texas would not get any more torrential rain than that's already there. Texas, you're getting some more today. We saw rivers there, up the Frio River, rise 17 feet just from the rain that you got then. But they rise up pretty quick and go back down, but the ground saturated really has no absorption rate right now. Everything has to run off. Let me back this out a moment. Now, guys, in the Northeast, I saw it may have been the New York NBC station up there. I'm not sure, but flooding in the streets of New York, heavy water running down into the subways. We've seen that before, but all of that had occurred overnight, and it was a mess. Still, you've got storms building up here. It's 10 till 10 Central Time. The heat of the day has not quite got to us yet, but it's going to do the same thing that it has been doing all week, and that is pull more moisture off both the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. Texas, you're getting set up over here again for more moisture. Same thing going on here. If you look at northern Arkansas going up into Missouri here, storms are setting up. Let me back it all the way out. Now, up north along the Canadian border, we're starting to get some moisture buildup in this area, guys, all the way through here, and that could help with some of those Canadian forest fires. I hope so. The system that we saw yesterday, it has moved across the Sea of Cortez down here and not really pushing much moisture up into Arizona where it's really needed. And you still got wildfires burning in the Four Corners region. We'll take a closer look at that. But just check out a wide view here in the southeast. And there's already, of course, the sun rises on the east coast first, and you can see that heat. They're an hour ahead of us starting to build along the coastline and create this high humidity and high moisture in the water vapor. But what I'm noticing is even in the Gulf right here, you're seeing a southward push. Now, that could affect the steering of the storm and keep it back out. But again, it's pretty far north now. And we're going to look at the spaghetti models. Earlier, the Canadian model had it coming across, but the Navy model had it moving up into Georgia. Again, I want to take a look at that in just a moment. Let's look at our infrared from this wide view. Again, pretty good bit of rain here. This is a peninsula, upper peninsula of Michigan, going into Canada. That's your heaviest rain. New York, you're getting the break you need, but watch again for the heat buildup. Here's the storms coming up in Missouri. In Texas, right now you're getting a break. We're just going to have to wait for that heat to get right above you and see how this plays out. You need it because it's hampering any type of search that they're trying to get done there. And when the water rises back up, remember they said yesterday, it kind of really slows them down because they have to go back to and clean out some of the areas that they had just went through because the flood debris has gotten back into it. But this is what we're dealing with right now. The Grand Canyon needs some water up here. Let's take a close look at that area while we're here. And you can see before the sun rises where your hot spots are. A lot of fire coming out of, or a lot of smoke coming out of this fire in Utah. Over here, this fire is a little further to the west than what we were seeing yesterday. It's either a different fire or it has advanced very rapidly. And, of course, the Grand Canyon fire, you can still see the hot spot there, and there's smoke. It's not as intense right there on the north rim, but we'll get better images as the day goes through. Not much moisture in the forecast, so, guys, just hope and pray for those tanker planes to keep that rotation going. Now, this is just updated a little less than 30 minutes ago, and this purple line right there, that's the Navy model. Notice it comes in kind of in the angle that we were looking at when we started the video right here, catches that northeast corner of Florida and crosses the Georgia line right in here, moves up into Alabama and kind of cuts back towards Atlanta at that point. You also have the yellow HWRF model, keeping it ashore. Most of these, and let's see which one we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing it ashore. The only one that puts it back in this section into the Gulf of America is the AVNO model and the Canadian model, which loops it further south. Plus, you've got the TVCA and your TCON model in here. But because the Navy model is this far north and the Canadian model is this far south, somewhere in this area is where it's going. But if it doesn't change, then you're going to get more moisture through this area. But again, that center of circulation is kind of dry right now. That may be a good thing. But if it gets back in here and we start to see that southern motion of the air movement, then it could get back into the Gulf, re-strengthen, and cause a lot of flooding through this area. Again, it could become a tropical depression, they're saying. But the best case scenario in my mind is to come ashore dry and get away from the moisture. We don't need the flooding anywhere along the southeast right now, guys. We just don't need it. And if it gets in, all of it has a turn here. Some is not extended out, but most of the time they will get into this area, weaken out, and then set up a row of thunderstorms and showers as they move back out through the northeast. So we're not over and done with the storm yet. And I think today will be critical in watching it as far as if it gets back into the Gulf or not. But again, we're watching this, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.